Hi, I'm Grace Shaw, and welcome to the Grace Shaw channel. Today we are looking at the income elasticity of demand. So, what is income elasticity of demand? It refers to the sensitivity of the quantity demanded for a certain good to change in the income of consumers who buy this. So, economists use this to measure the responsiveness of the quantity demanded for goods and service to their change in income. Businesses can use this to help predict the impact of a business cycle on sales. So let's take a good look at this. Demand is considered inelastic if the demand for the good or service remains unchanged, even when the price changes. Elastic goods include luxury items and certain food and beverages, as changes in their price affect demand. Inelastic goods may include such items like tobacco, medications, as the demand often remains constant despite the price changes. So you can look at this mathematically, and the income elasticity of demand would be calculated by the percent change in the quantity divided by the percent change in the price. If that calculation that you get, that number, is greater than 1, we consider it a normal or luxury good. If it is less than 1 but greater than 0, then it is a normal good. But if it is less than 0, is considered an inferior good. So let's take a look at one of these problems so that way we can understand. So we have price along the y-axis and quantities along the x on these, with 3 given points, A, B, and C, as you can on this graph. So we are going to calculate the income elasticity between points A and B, and then B and C, and we're also going to say what type of good that product is. So in other words, is it a luxury, normal, inferior good? What is it? So in order to do any of these, we're going to use this formula that we discussed in the previous slide. And in order to solve this, the first thing that I personally would do is to create a table of those points for each quantity and price there, so that way it makes it easier to calculate. So why don't you hit pause and find those numbers? So those numbers for point A, you would at $20 purchase 8. At $25 you would purchase 12, and at $30 you would purchase 9. So hit pause and see if you can do these calculations. Okay, let's take a look to see what you have. First thing that I would do, I would change up this equation just a little bit to make it simpler to input my figures. I would find the income elasticity of demand by dividing the change of quantity divided by the change in price and multiplying that by the price divided by the quantity. And that is the same as saying percent change in quantity divided by the percent change in price. But it is easier to put your numbers in, just plug and chug. So if you're comfortable with the answer, don't hit pause. If you would like to work on this, hit pause. Okay, so let's check to see if you have. First, in order to find, I would take 8 minus 12 divided by 20 minus 25, which is, remember, we're just doing points A and B, so you have the quantities on the top and your prices on the bottom, and you would times this by the changes in quantity of price on the top, 20 and 25, and on the bottom is 8 plus 12. And so then mathematically, you come down, you work your answer, you should be able to come up with 1.80 is the income elasticity of the demand between points A and B. So what type of good is that? So since that number that you get, 1.80, is greater than 1, between those income levels of 20 and 25, we would consider this to be a luxury good because that number is greater than 1. Okay, so now let's take a look at between points B and C, and you will be doing the same. So go ahead and hit pause and work on that problem and come back. So you should have come up with something that's about like this. And so your answer would be negative 1.57 would be the income elasticity of the demand between points B and C. And since this number is a negative number between price points 25 and 30, we would consider that good to be inferior because it is a negative number. And so you don't have to know what types of goods these are. You can just say good A, good B, good C, good D, compare two of the goods together, and we can tell what it is by categorizing luxury, normal, inferior good by the changes in the quantities and price in relationship to one's income. So if you have any questions, go ahead and hit me up, or don't forget to subscribe to the Grace Shaw channel for more instructions.